Chapter 1. There are moments in life when the world seems to close in on you. When every step feels heavy, every breath seems borrowed from yesterday's hope, and every plan you once believed in feels fragile, like a candle in the wind. At times like these, it is easy to surrender. It is easy to whisper to yourself that perhaps you are not strong enough, not talented enough, not meant to rise. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that the seeds of greatness are planted. The greatest achievements in human history are not born from comfort or ease, but from struggle, persistence, and the refusal to give in. Most people never reach the point where they can truly test themselves, not because they are incapable, but because they stop too soon. They quit at the first sign of failure, abandon their dreams when the path becomes uncertain, and settle for mediocrity rather than risk the unknown. But the ones who become unforgettable, the ones whose stories echo through generations, are those who face the darkest hours without surrender. They hear the quiet, persistent voice that says, "Keep going." That voice is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before she became a household name, she was a struggling single mother, living on welfare, fighting through depression, and facing constant rejection from publishers. Her manuscript about a boy wizard was turned down by 12 different publishers. Most people would have given up after the first, or even the second rejection. But Rowling refused. She continued writing in cafes while her child slept beside her. Each rejection strengthened her resolve. Each no became a step closer to her eventual yes. Today, her books have sold over 500 million copies, translated into 80 languages, and inspired generations of readers. Her story is not about luck. It is about persistence, belief, and refusing to quit in the face of repeated failure. Oprah Winfrey faced a childhood filled with extreme hardship, poverty, and abuse. At every stage of her early life, she encountered people who doubted her potential. She was told she was not fit for television, not talented enough, not deserving of success. Yet, she did not allow others' opinions to define her. She pressed on, tirelessly pursuing her passion for storytelling. She took every setback as a lesson, every closed door as a redirection, and each challenge became a fuel to propel her forward. Today, Oprah is more than a media personality. She is a symbol of resilience, influence, and the transformative power of never giving up. Persistence is not just about overcoming external obstacles. It is about facing the internal battles that often go unnoticed. Doubt, fear, and the temptation to settle can weigh heavier than any physical barrier. The mind will invent 1,000 reasons why quitting is the rational choice, why surrendering is acceptable, why dreams are meant for others, not you. But the individuals who achieve extraordinary success learn to embrace these internal struggles. They understand that pain, disappointment, and rejection are not the end. They are the proving grounds where character is forged. Consider Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison failed thousands of times before creating a working version of what would become one of humanity's greatest inventions. Each attempt ended in disappointment, yet he persisted. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His failures were not obstacles. They were stepping stones. Every experiment taught him something new. Every setback brought him closer to success. Edison's story is a lesson in endurance. The world does not reward those who quit at the first sign of difficulty. It rewards those who persevere. The power of persistence is evident in sports as well. Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, was once cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine being a teenager, passionate about your dream, and then told you are not good enough. Most people would have quit, but Jordan did not. He used rejection as motivation. He trained harder, practiced longer, and refined his skills until he could no longer be denied. His relentless pursuit of excellence turned him into a global icon. Jordan's story reminds us that the path to greatness is often paved with rejection, doubt, and struggle, and that the only way to succeed is to keep moving forward despite them. Persistence does not always lead to fame or fortune, but it leads to transformation. Every person who refuses to give up experiences growth that cannot be measured by money, status, or recognition. It is the internal evolution, the strengthening of character, the sharpening of focus, the deepening of resilience. That is the true reward. Take the single mother who works multiple jobs to ensure her children have access to education. Take the student who fails exams repeatedly but studies one more day, one more hour, until mastery is achieved. Take the entrepreneur whose first business collapses only to rise stronger and wiser with the next attempt. These are everyday heroes, and their stories carry the same extraordinary message. The human spirit is capable of far more than we realize, as long as we refuse to give up. Elon Musk, a man whose name has become synonymous with innovation and risk, embodies the power of persistence. Musk faced near bankruptcy, rockets that exploded on launch pads, and widespread skepticism about his companies. Investors doubted him. Critics mocked him, yet he pressed on. Every failure became a lesson, every obstacle an opportunity to improve. Today, he has changed the landscape of space exploration, electric vehicles, and sustainable energy. Musk's story shows that persistence, even when the world seems to be against you, can turn impossibility into reality. To never give up is to trust in the unseen, to act even when the outcome is uncertain. It is to understand that the journey itself transforms you, making you stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you were before. Every setback, every moment of despair, is a test of commitment. Those who endure these tests discover a truth that cannot be learned from comfort or convenience. Success is earned through effort, courage, and persistence. Every life has moments when giving up seems the easiest choice. Perhaps it is a dream you have carried for years, now weighed down by obstacles. Perhaps it is a project, a career, or a passion that seems impossible to pursue. Perhaps it is a relationship, a goal, or even your own self-doubt. These moments are inevitable. They come to everyone. What matters is how you respond. Will you allow the fear of failure to dictate your life? Or will you rise again and again, refusing to surrender? The human spirit is not defined by moments of comfort. It is defined by moments of struggle, resilience, and choice. The quiet, painful moments when you have nothing but your belief and your willpower. That is when your true strength emerges. Each time you choose to persist, you grow stronger. Each time you refuse to quit, you rewrite your story. Each time you take one more step despite exhaustion, you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you imagined. Success, greatness, and fulfillment are rarely instantaneous. They are the result of repeated choices, small victories, and the courage to continue even when progress is invisible. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Every setback is preparation. Every failure is a lesson. Those who persist eventually discover that life does not just give rewards. It shapes those who refuse to be shaped by fear, doubt, or circumstance. As you read these words, remember this. The moment you feel like quitting may be the moment you are closest to your breakthrough. Most people quit in darkness, unaware that dawn is just moments away. Those who succeed, those who are remembered, those who inspire, are those who endure. They take the pain, the doubt, the fear, and transform it into fuel. They move forward, step by step, until their vision becomes reality. Within you lies the same potential, the same capacity for resilience, courage, and transformation. the same ability to rise from failure, to overcome obstacles, and to create a life that reflects your highest potential. Life will challenge you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will test you. But your decision to never give up will define you. It will determine whether your story fades into mediocrity or becomes a legend of endurance, hope, and triumph. This is the choice that each of us must make: to surrender to circumstance, or to rise above it, to settle for comfort, or to pursue greatness, to live in doubt, or to embrace the power within. Those who choose the latter do not just survive, they thrive. They do not just exist, they transform the world around them. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone. Every failure becomes a pathway to success. So take a deep breath and listen to that quiet voice inside you. That voice that says, "Keep going." That voice is your true guide, your inner strength, your reminder that greatness is not for the chosen few. It is for those who refuse to give up. Today, tomorrow, and every day after, let persistence be your companion. Let courage be your weapon. Let hope be your guide. Because on the other side of persistence lies not just achievement, but transformation. Not just fulfillment, but identity. Not just success, but the person you were always meant to become. And that person is extraordinary. Chapter 2. Life has a way of testing us in ways we never anticipate. Sometimes the challenge is external: a job lost, a dream denied, a relationship broken. Sometimes the challenge is internal: fear, self-doubt, exhaustion, the creeping whisper that you are not enough. In these moments, most people look for an escape. They search for shortcuts, for excuses, for reasons to stop. But the truly remarkable, the ones whose stories echo through generations, are those who refuse to stop. They continue when it hurts, when it seems impossible, when the world itself seems against them. Consider the story of Colonel Sanders. At the age of 65, after a lifetime of failed businesses, poverty, and repeated rejection, he finally decided to pursue a dream that many would have abandoned decades earlier. With his recipe in hand, he went door to door, pitching his chicken to restaurants. One rejection followed another, hundreds, if not thousands, but he refused to give up. Today, KFC is a global empire. Sanders' story is a testament to the idea that it is never too late to pursue your vision, and that persistence can turn even the most unlikely circumstances into extraordinary success. Persistence does not discriminate between age, status, or background. It is available to anyone willing to endure. The path is rarely smooth, but it is always transformative. Every setback, every failure, every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, to learn, to sharpen your resilience. The challenges themselves become the teachers, and the lessons learned become the foundation of lasting success. There are those who endure quietly, whose stories are less celebrated but equally inspiring. Take a young woman growing up in a small village with no access to higher education. Each day, she walks miles just to attend school, carrying her books and her dreams with equal weight. Teachers tell her she is ambitious, perhaps too ambitious, that her goals may be out of reach. Friends say she should settle for what is comfortable, what is easy, what is safe. But she refuses. She studies late into the night, sacrifices leisure, and pushes forward one day at a time. That determination, often invisible to the world, is the very essence of never giving up. One day, she will achieve her dreams, and when she does, her story will inspire generations. Even in the arts, the principle of persistence is unmistakable. Vincent van Gogh lived a life filled with struggle, poverty, and mental anguish. He painted over 2,000 artworks, yet during his lifetime he sold only a few paintings. Many of his contemporaries dismissed him, Society overlooked him. The world seemed indifferent to his genius. And yet, Van Gogh continued to paint, driven by an inner fire, a belief in his vision, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. Today, he is celebrated as one of the greatest painters in history. His journey teaches us that persistence is not about immediate recognition. It is about faith in the process and dedication to the work, even when the world does not notice. In business and technology, stories of persistence often redefine entire industries. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, faced public failure when he was ousted from the very company he built. Many would have surrendered to humiliation and despair. Jobs, however, did not. He founded new ventures, learned from his experiences, and eventually returned to Apple, leading it to unprecedented innovation and success. His journey illustrates a critical truth. Setbacks are not endpoints, they are setups for a greater comeback. Persistence is often about embracing discomfort. Growth rarely occurs in zones of comfort. It requires the courage to step into the unknown, to face challenges that intimidate even the strongest among us. The human mind will invent thousands of reasons to quit. Every fear, every insecurity, every piece of doubt is a test. But those who persevere understand that discomfort is not an enemy. It is a sign that you are progressing, stretching, evolving. Consider the story of Sylvester Stallone. He was a struggling actor, rejected countless times, with little money and few opportunities. Yet he held onto a vision, to star in a film he believed in. He wrote the script for Rocky himself, despite having nothing to lose. Studios rejected him repeatedly. Finally, one gave him a chance, but only if he accepted a minor role. Stallone refused. He persisted, believing in his potential. Today, Rocky is a cultural phenomenon, and Stallone's career is a testament to the power of persistence and self-belief. Persistence is also about resilience, the ability to rise each time you fall. Life will knock you down repeatedly. Friends may betray you. Opportunities may vanish. Circumstances may seem impossible. Yet each time you rise, you strengthen an inner muscle that no external force can break. This is what separates those who succeed from those who surrender, the refusal to let temporary setbacks define your story. The stories of ordinary people achieving extraordinary things are no less inspiring. A young man who spends nights studying by candlelight because his village has no electricity, dreaming of becoming a doctor. A woman who starts a small business with almost nothing, facing ridicule, competition, and failure, yet building a livelihood through perseverance. A teenager who trains for a marathon despite injury, fatigue, and discouragement, eventually crossing the finish line against all odds. These are real, tangible examples of human tenacity, showing that persistence is not reserved for the famous. It is available to anyone willing to endure. Even in science, persistence is paramount. Marie Curie faced enormous obstacles as a woman in the male-dominated field of physics and chemistry. She battled financial struggles, societal bias, and personal tragedy, yet her pursuit of knowledge never wavered. Her persistence led to groundbreaking discoveries in radioactivity and 2 Nobel Prizes. Curie's journey demonstrates that dedication and relentless effort, even in the face of overwhelming challenges, can produce results that transform the world. The truth is, giving up is always easier than moving forward. It provides temporary relief, a short escape from discomfort, and a false sense of security. Yet every time you choose persistence over surrender, you grow stronger, wiser, and closer to your potential. Every failure becomes a lesson, every obstacle a stepping stone, and every struggle a chance to discover strength you didn't know existed. Even when the outcome is uncertain, even when the path is treacherous, even when doubt threatens to consume you, Persistence is the bridge between aspiration and achievement. The choice to continue, to take one more step, to try one more time, can make the difference between mediocrity and greatness, between regret and fulfillment. Remember, history is filled with examples of people who refused to quit. Walt Disney faced bankruptcy, multiple business failures, and skepticism from everyone around him, yet he built an empire that continues to inspire generations. Elon Musk faced near financial ruin and criticism from every angle, yet he revolutionized electric cars, space travel, and sustainable energy. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before her story of a young wizard became a global phenomenon. These are not exceptions. They are evidence that persistence, courage, and belief in oneself are powerful forces that can overcome any obstacle. Every setback, every disappointment, and every failure is temporary. What endures is your will, your determination, and your decision to continue despite the odds. Persistence is not about avoiding failure. It is about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to move forward. It is about looking at the challenges ahead and saying, I will continue. I will endure. I will succeed. As you read these words, reflect on your own journey. Think about the moments when giving up seemed easiest. Think about the dreams that feel distant, the goals that feel impossible. Those moments are your opportunity. They are your test. They are the proving grounds of your potential. The choice is yours, to surrender or to rise, to accept mediocrity or pursue greatness, to quit or to persist. Every time you choose persistence, you honor your potential, reshape your story, and move closer to the life you were meant to lead. Because within you lies the same power that transformed ordinary lives into legends. The same resilience that built empires, created art, revolutionized science, and inspired millions. The same strength that can turn failure into triumph, doubt into clarity, and struggle into growth. Persistence is your companion, your secret weapon, and your path to transformation. Never forget this. The moment you feel like giving up is often the moment you are closest to success. The world may test you, life may challenge you, and circumstances may seem impossible. But those who endure, who refuse to quit, who take one more step despite the odds, will ultimately prevail. They will transform not only their own lives, but the lives of everyone around them. They will become a force that cannot be stopped, a story that cannot be forgotten, and a legacy that endures. And that is the promise of persistence, that no matter the struggle, no matter the pain, no matter the doubt, those who refuse to give up will discover the extraordinary within themselves and achieve what others thought impossible. The playing field is uneven, the rules often hidden, and the obstacles relentless. Yet, it is precisely in this unevenness that opportunity hides. The people who achieve greatness are not those who are given a smooth path. They are those who navigate chaos, struggle, and rejection step by step, refusing to quit. They understand that the world will not wait for them, that failure is inevitable, and that perseverance is their only path forward. Consider the story of Howard Schultz. Growing up in a poor neighborhood, he witnessed the struggles of his family and community. Most people in his situation might have accepted a life of limitation. Schultz, however, dreamed bigger. He worked tirelessly, often walking the streets of his neighborhood with nothing but determination. He faced skepticism, rejection, and financial uncertainty when he tried to bring his vision for Starbucks to life. But he refused to give up. Today, Starbucks is a global brand, and Schultz's story is proof that perseverance and vision can transform circumstances that seem insurmountable. Persistence often begins in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It is found in the early mornings and late nights, in the hours spent practicing, learning, or improving, even when the results are invisible. It is in showing up consistently, even when motivation fades and exhaustion sets in. Ordinary people, in their quiet persistence, often achieve extraordinary outcomes because they never stop. Take the story of a young woman in a rural village who dreamed of becoming a doctor despite having no access to schools nearby and facing financial struggles at home. Each day, she walked miles to attend classes, studied late into the night by candlelight, and faced ridicule from peers who told her she was dreaming too big. Yet she persisted. Years of dedication led her to medical school, and eventually she became a doctor who returned to her village to serve others. Her story is a reminder that persistence does not require extraordinary circumstances. It requires an unwavering belief in your vision and the courage to act on it. The lives of famous innovators and creators further illustrate this truth. Albert Einstein struggled in school, failed exams, and was often told he lacked promise. Many teachers thought he would never succeed academically. Yet, Einstein's curiosity and persistence allowed him to continue exploring the mysteries of the universe. He did not give up on his questions, even when the answers seemed distant. His persistence ultimately led to theories that revolutionized science and our understanding of reality. Einstein's story teaches us that early struggles or failures are not signs of incapability. They are simply tests of endurance and commitment. Persistence is also the act of learning to embrace failure as a teacher. Every mistake, every setback, every rejection carries lessons. Most people are afraid of failure, but those who persist recognize that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Each failure brings clarity, insight, and preparation for the next attempt. The person who persists is the one who transforms obstacles into stepping stones, who converts pain into fuel, and who turns setbacks into momentum. Consider the life of Sarah Blakely. Before becoming a billionaire entrepreneur, she faced repeated rejections from manufacturers, investors, and retailers while trying to sell her invention. Many would have given up after the first no, but she kept refining her approach, learning from each rejection and moving forward. Her persistence ultimately created a revolutionary product and built a global brand. Blakely's journey exemplifies that tenacity, learning, and action often matter far more than innate talent or luck. Persistence is not about never feeling fear or doubt. It is about continuing in spite of them. Every successful person has faced moments of uncertainty, self-doubt, and fear. What sets them apart is the decision to act anyway. It is the willingness to keep moving forward when the outcome is uncertain, when resources are limited, and when the path is unclear. The courage to persist, even when the world seems indifferent, is the hallmark of extraordinary achievement. The ordinary often becomes extraordinary through the power of consistent action. A musician practicing hundreds of hours before a single performance. An author writing thousands of pages before a book is published. A scientist experimenting repeatedly before discovering a breakthrough. A teacher tirelessly preparing lessons to inspire students despite low pay and societal challenges. These people may not be famous, but their commitment and persistence create ripples that transform lives. Even in moments of failure, persistence reveals its power. Take the story of Harland David Sanders. Before founding KFC, he faced countless failures in his career, from losing businesses to being rejected by potential partners. At 65, when most would retire, he began traveling from town to town, pitching his chicken recipe. Hundreds of rejections later, he finally found success. His story shows that persistence is not bound by age, circumstance, or initial failure. It is about refusing to quit when the majority would. Sometimes persistence requires radical faith in your vision. Walt Disney faced bankruptcy, repeated rejection, and criticism, yet he continued building his empire. He believed in his dreams even when the world laughed at him. Disney's story reminds us that vision, combined with relentless persistence, can overcome even the harshest obstacles. The essence of never giving up is understanding that success is rarely linear. The path is messy, uncertain, and filled with challenges. Every failure, mistake, or setback is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to adapt, learn, and continue. Persistence is not blind endurance. It is deliberate action fueled by hope, belief, and courage. Ordinary lives transformed by persistence are all around us. A young man who grows up in poverty but learns to code at night, eventually building a tech company. A woman who faces discrimination but continues her education, ultimately breaking barriers in her profession. A student failing repeatedly yet refusing to quit until mastery is achieved. These stories illustrate a universal truth. Persistence turns ordinary human potential into extraordinary results. Every struggle, every trial, every moment of despair carries the potential for transformation. The moment you feel like quitting may be the moment you are closest to success. History is filled with people who refuse to give up, and their achievements continue to inspire generations. Persistence is not simply about enduring. It is about evolving, learning, and using every challenge as fuel for growth. When life pushes you to your limits, remember this: the only difference between those who succeed and those who fail is the decision to continue. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Every effort, repeated consistently, builds strength, skill, and resilience. Every setback is temporary if you refuse to quit. The truth is simple. The world will test you, circumstances will challenge you, and obstacles will appear. But the choice to persist, to rise again and again, will define your life. Those who endure, who refuse to surrender, who keep taking one more step despite fear, doubt, or failure, will ultimately achieve their dreams. They will transform themselves, their lives, and the world around them. Persistence is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle. It is a habit of showing up, of taking action, of believing in possibilities, even when the outcome is unclear. It is a refusal to be defeated by circumstances, a commitment to growth, and an unwavering dedication to your vision. Those who adopt this mindset become unstoppable. They turn obstacles into opportunities, failure into lessons, and struggle into strength. Within you lies the same potential that transformed ordinary lives into legends. The same resilience that built empires, created art, revolutionized science, and inspired millions. The same strength that can turn failure into triumph, doubt into clarity, and struggle into growth. Persistence is your companion, your secret weapon, and your path to transformation. Never forget, the moment you feel like giving up is often the moment you are closest to your breakthrough. Choose persistence, and you will discover that the human spirit is capable of far more than you ever imagined. Those who refuse to quit will not only achieve their dreams, they will create legacies that endure forever. Chapter 4. Life does not give us guarantees. The path we choose is filled with uncertainty, setbacks, and obstacles we cannot predict. Sometimes it is not the world that challenges us, but our own mind. Fear, doubt, insecurity, and exhaustion often strike at the moments when we are closest to a breakthrough. It is easy to surrender, to give in to the voice that whispers, "It's too hard, you can't do this, maybe you weren't meant to succeed." But history and human experience tell us something profound. Those who endure, those who persist despite fear, are the ones who achieve greatness. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years imprisoned for fighting injustice. subjected to harsh conditions, isolation, and immense pressure. Many would have succumbed to despair. Many would have abandoned their principles just to survive. Mandela, however, refused to give up. He used every moment of confinement to learn, to grow, to plan. His resilience transformed him into a leader whose influence reshaped an entire nation. His story shows that persistence is not just about personal ambition. It is about enduring for something greater than oneself. Persistence often requires a level of courage most people underestimate. It is not just about continuing when things are easy. It is about pressing forward when everything within you screams to stop. Imagine the single parent working multiple jobs, exhausted, yet finding the strength to provide education and opportunity for their children. Imagine the small business owner whose first ventures fail, but who rises again, month after month, learning and improving. Imagine the student who fails exams repeatedly, faces ridicule, yet continues to study with unwavering focus. These stories demonstrate that extraordinary results are not reserved for the talented. They are reserved for the persistent. Even in the world of art and creativity, persistence shapes legends. Vincent van Gogh, one of the most celebrated painters in history, struggled with mental health, poverty, and social isolation. During his lifetime, he sold very few paintings. The world did not recognize his genius. Yet he painted relentlessly, driven by vision, passion, and persistence. Today, his works inspire millions and are valued among the most significant art in history. Van Gogh's story teaches us that recognition and success may not come immediately, but persistence ensures that your work endures and your vision is realized. Persistence is also about faith. Faith in yourself when the world doubts you, and faith in your goals when circumstances seem impossible. Walt Disney faced bankruptcy, repeated rejection, and ridicule for his ideas. He could have quit, but he believed in the worlds he wanted to create. He believed in the joy his stories could bring. His persistence turned a small idea into a global empire that continues to inspire creativity and imagination. Disney's journey teaches us that belief, paired with relentless effort, can overcome even the harshest skepticism. Ordinary people achieve extraordinary things when they persist. Consider a teenager in a rural town with no access to higher education who dreams of becoming a doctor. Every day requires walking miles to school, studying by candlelight at night, and facing discouragement from peers and family who say the dream is impossible. Yet that teenager refuses to give up. Years of relentless study and sacrifice lead to acceptance into medical school and eventually a career serving others. This is not a story of natural talent. It is a story of unyielding persistence. Persistence often comes down to small, repeated actions. It is the habit of showing up, even when progress is invisible. It is the commitment to continue one more day, one more hour, one more step, even when the world offers no reward. Elon Musk faced repeated failure, public ridicule, and near financial ruin, yet he continued to pursue his vision for electric vehicles and space travel. His persistence transformed industries and redefined possibility. Small steps, repeated consistently, create monumental outcomes. Even failure becomes an ally when approached with persistence. Each setback carries a lesson, a hidden opportunity to adapt and grow. Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, viewed failure not as defeat, but as progress. Each experiment taught him something new and brought him closer to success. Failure, when embraced with persistence, is not the end. It is a compass pointing toward improvement. The human mind often invents reasons to quit before failure even arrives. Fear of the unknown, fear of judgment, fear of disappointment can paralyze us. The difference between those who achieve and those who surrender lies in action despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is persistence in spite of fear. Those who persist do not wait for perfect conditions. They act, adapt, and continue until they succeed. Persistence can be transformative, not just in achieving goals, but in shaping character. Every struggle endured, every obstacle overcome, and every setback faced builds resilience, patience, and wisdom. It is not enough to reach your destination. You must become the kind of person who can endure the journey and embrace the lessons along the way. Even in business, ordinary people achieve extraordinary things through persistence. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, faced countless rejections from manufacturers and investors. She had little money and no experience, yet she persisted, refining her approach with each setback. Her persistence created a revolutionary product and a global company. Blakely's journey reminds us that persistence transforms vision into reality, no matter the obstacles or initial failures. Persistence is the bridge between aspiration and achievement. It requires faith, patience, and resilience. It is the refusal to be defeated by temporary setbacks. It is the understanding that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Those who persist discover strength within themselves they did not know existed. They learn that failure is not permanent, that doubt is a test, and that success belongs to those who refuse to quit. Consider the countless unsung heroes around us. A mother studying late at night to provide a better future for her children. An entrepreneur rebuilding after a failed business. A student mastering a skill after repeated setbacks. These lives demonstrate that persistence is not about extraordinary talent. It is about extraordinary commitment. Ordinary people, through persistence, accomplish extraordinary feats. The truth is simple. Life will challenge you, circumstances will test you, and obstacles will appear. The difference between success and surrender is the decision to continue. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Every effort, repeated consistently, builds strength, resilience, and skill. Every setback is temporary if you refuse to quit. Persistence is not a moment, it is a way of life. It is showing up when it is hard. It is acting when the outcome is uncertain. It is believing in yourself when no one else does. It is choosing to rise again and again despite fear, doubt, and failure. Those who persist are unstoppable. They turn obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and struggle into strength. Within you lies the same potential that transformed ordinary lives into legends. The same resilience that built empires, created art, and revolutionized science. The same strength that can turn failure into triumph, doubt into clarity, and struggle into growth. Persistence is your secret weapon, your companion, and your path to transformation. Never forget, the moment you feel like giving up is often the moment you are closest to a breakthrough. Choose persistence, and you will discover that the human spirit is capable of far more than you ever imagined. Those who refuse to quit will not only achieve their dreams, they will leave legacies that endure forever. Chapter 5. Life has a way of breaking us down before it allows us to rise. It tests our limits, exposes our weaknesses, and challenges our spirit in ways we never imagined. There are moments when every door seems closed, every effort seems wasted, and every dream feels impossible. Yet, in these darkest hours, the human spirit has a remarkable capacity to endure. Those who rise when the world expects them to fail discover a power within themselves that is nothing short of extraordinary. Consider the story of Bethany Hamilton. At the age of 13, she lost her arm in a shark attack. For most, such a tragedy would have ended any dream of professional sports. Yet Bethany refused to give up. Within a month, she was back on her surfboard. She adapted, trained, and persevered, ultimately competing at the highest levels of professional surfing. Her journey shows that even the most devastating setbacks can be overcome with courage, persistence, and belief in oneself. Extreme challenges often reveal the hidden reserves of strength we didn't know existed. Think of the countless entrepreneurs who risk everything to pursue a vision, only to face public failure, financial ruin, and personal sacrifice. They continue because they believe that the path to success is paved with obstacles and that every failure is a lesson guiding them closer to their goal. Elon Musk, for instance, faced repeated failures with SpaceX rockets before achieving historic success with reusable spacecraft. Every failure could have been the end, but persistence turned the impossible into reality. Persistence is often about making the choice to move forward when everything seems lost. Consider the life of Nick Vujicic. Born without arms or legs, Nick faced unimaginable physical and emotional challenges. Society could have defined his limits, and even he may have doubted his potential. But he chose persistence. He learned to live fully, to inspire millions, and to prove that limitations exist only in the mind. Nick's story reminds us that true strength is not about circumstances. It is about the decisions we make in the face of adversity. Sometimes, persistence is quieter but no less remarkable. A young woman studying late into the night, working multiple jobs to pay tuition, facing discouragement at every turn, continues because she believes her dreams are worth the sacrifice. A student failing exams repeatedly yet refuses to stop studying. A small business owner whose first venture collapsed but rebuilds with newfound knowledge. These lives, though less publicized, are equally powerful demonstrations of the human capacity to endure and thrive. The power of persistence often lies in consistency. It is the repeated effort, day after day, that compounds into extraordinary outcomes. Thomas Edison's thousands of failed attempts at inventing the light bulb were not wasted. They were proof of relentless pursuit. Each failure was a lesson, each setback a step closer to his breakthrough. Persistence is not instant gratification. It is the quiet accumulation of effort, learning, and resilience over time. Even when circumstances seem impossible, persistence can create miracles. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai. Shot by extremists for demanding education for girls, most would have retreated in fear. Malala chose to persist. She continued advocating for education, becoming the youngest Nobel Prize laureate in history. Her courage shows that persistence, even in the face of life-threatening obstacles, can reshape the world. The moments when giving up feels inevitable are also the moments when breakthroughs often occur. The people who achieve greatness are not those who avoid struggle. They are those who endure it. They rise after every fall, learn from every mistake, and transform fear into fuel. This is the essence of never giving up, moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey, trusting that every step carries you closer to your potential. Consider the story of Stephen King. Before achieving literary fame, he received over 30 rejections for his manuscript of Carrie. Many would have given up, but he persisted. King continued writing, refining his craft, and believing in his stories. Today, he is one of the most successful authors in history. His books, adapted into countless films and beloved worldwide. Persistence turned rejection into a platform for extraordinary success. Persistence is not just about external accomplishments. It transforms the individual. It strengthens character, sharpens focus, and teaches lessons that no classroom or mentor can provide. The person who refuses to give up develops resilience, patience, and an unwavering sense of purpose. This inner strength becomes a lifelong advantage, enabling them to overcome future challenges with confidence. Even ordinary people achieve extraordinary outcomes through persistence. A man in a small village who studies every day, dreaming of a career in medicine, eventually becomes a doctor despite financial hardships. A woman starting a business with no experience or capital gradually builds a successful company through repeated effort and learning. A student failing exams repeatedly finally masters the material through relentless practice. These stories reveal that persistence is not about innate talent. It is about dedication, endurance, and the refusal to surrender. Persistence requires courage. The courage to face fear, uncertainty, and rejection without succumbing. It is about choosing to act even when the path is unclear, trusting that effort will eventually lead to progress. Walt Disney, who faced bankruptcy and repeated skepticism, continued pursuing his vision of animated films and theme parks. His persistence created an empire that continues to influence generations. The lesson is clear. Persistence turns dreams into reality, even when obstacles seem insurmountable. The truth is, life will test everyone. You will encounter setbacks, failures, and disappointments. You will face moments when quitting seems like the only option. But those who succeed are those who choose persistence, even in the face of adversity. Every small action, every repeated effort, every refusal to give up adds to your strength and moves you closer to your goals. Persistence is the bridge between desire and achievement, between challenge and triumph. Even when the world doubts you, persistence empowers you to rise. Ordinary people achieve extraordinary results by showing up consistently, acting with purpose, and refusing to be defined by setbacks. Consider a young athlete injured repeatedly, facing doubts from coaches and peers, who trains harder each day and ultimately achieves greatness. Or a writer rejected dozens of times who continues to submit work until a breakthrough occurs. Persistence transforms not just circumstances but the individual, creating strength, resilience, and mastery. Within each of us lies the potential for this kind of extraordinary perseverance. The strength to rise after failure, the courage to act despite fear, the resilience to endure hardship and emerge stronger. Persistence is the key to unlocking this potential, the force that transforms dreams into reality, and the quality that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Never forget, the moments you feel like giving up are the moments when breakthroughs are nearest. The world may test you, life may challenge you, and obstacles may seem impossible. But persistence, relentless, unyielding, courageous persistence, will carry you forward. Those who refuse to quit not only achieve their dreams, they leave legacies that inspire, empower, and transform the world. Because the truth is simple, giving up is easy, but persistence is life-changing. Every step, every effort, every act of courage moves you closer to your destiny. Your refusal to surrender defines your story, shapes your character, and determines the extraordinary life you are capable of living. The moment you choose persistence is the moment you choose greatness. Chapter 6. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning. Yet most people see failure as a stopping point, a reason to quit, a signal that they are not capable. But the truth is, failure is the most powerful teacher we have. It exposes weaknesses, uncovers lessons, and provides the raw material for growth. Every setback, every disappointment, and every mistake carries within it an opportunity. If you are willing to see it, learn from it, and act on it. Consider the story of Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, facing abuse and discrimination, and often told she would never succeed, she refused to let her circumstances define her. Each setback became a lesson. Every rejection fueled her determination, and her persistence transformed her into one of the most influential women in the world. Oprah's journey illustrates that failure is not a wall, it is a ladder. The key is to climb it step by step, using each failure as a foothold. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up lies in perspective. Failure is only final if you interpret it that way. Those who persist understand that failure is temporary and that it often contains the seeds of future success. Consider the young inventor, rejected dozens of times for their ideas. Each rejection teaches refinement, clarity, and resilience. Those who persist transform repeated failure into a roadmap toward innovation. Persistence is most powerful when combined with reflection and learning. The human mind can adapt, improve, and grow, but only if we take the time to analyze what went wrong and adjust our approach. Thomas Edison did not see his thousands of failed light bulb experiments as defeat. He saw them as 2,000 lessons that guided him toward success. The power of persistence lies not only in continuing, but in continuing smarter, wiser, and more prepared. Extreme perseverance often comes in the face of impossible odds. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before the Harry Potter series became a worldwide phenomenon, her manuscript was rejected multiple times. She faced financial hardship, skepticism, and doubt. Yet she persisted, refining her writing and submitting to publishers relentlessly. Her refusal to quit transformed not just her life, but the lives of millions of readers globally. Persistence can turn rejection into opportunity when paired with vision and action. Even ordinary people achieve extraordinary results when they adopt a persistent mindset. A small-town entrepreneur whose first business fails may use the lessons learned to build a thriving company on the second attempt. A student struggling to pass exams may study relentlessly, improving with each try until success becomes inevitable. Persistence is universal. It does not require extraordinary talent, wealth, or circumstance. It requires commitment, courage, and action. Turning failure into advantage is about mindset. Instead of asking, "Why me?" persistent people ask, "What can I learn?" Instead of focusing on loss, they focus on growth. Each setback becomes a stepping stone, each mistake a lesson, each failure a rehearsal for eventual triumph. The more we embrace this mindset, the more empowered we become to overcome challenges that would have defeated us otherwise. Consider the story of Richard Branson. His early ventures often failed spectacularly, yet each failure taught him a lesson about business, leadership, and strategy. Branson persisted, learning, adapting, and applying his insights to future endeavors. Today, he has created a global brand that spans industries. Persistence turns mistakes into fuel for progress and setbacks into guides for future action. Persistence is also about consistency, the commitment to keep moving forward even when progress is invisible. It is the repeated effort, the long hours, and the quiet work that nobody sees. It is the small daily actions that compound over time into extraordinary results. The musician who practices relentlessly, the student who studies consistently, the athlete who trains day after day, all demonstrate that persistence is often a process, not a dramatic event. Extreme challenges often reveal extraordinary strength. Bethany Hamilton, after losing her arm in a shark attack, could have given up surfing forever. Instead, she adapted her technique, trained relentlessly, and returned to professional surfing. Her story teaches that persistence is not about avoiding adversity, it is about overcoming it. Strength is born in the moments when giving up feels easiest, and courage is forged when the world seems against you. Even in scientific discovery, persistence is crucial. Marie Curie faced societal bias, financial challenges, and personal tragedy. Yet she continued her research, ultimately discovering groundbreaking scientific principles and winning 2 Nobel Prizes. Curie's journey illustrates that persistence is not about comfort. It is about endurance, focus, and relentless pursuit of a goal, even when the path is fraught with obstacles. Every person has moments when quitting seems appealing. The test is what you do in those moments. Do you surrender or do you rise? Do you let fear, doubt, and fatigue dictate your choices, or do you embrace the challenge and continue? Persistence is the bridge between desire and accomplishment, between struggle and mastery. It transforms ordinary potential into extraordinary reality. The secret to high-impact persistence is also in embracing discomfort. Growth rarely occurs in zones of ease. Every challenge, every setback, and every failure stretches our limits, building resilience and capacity. The human spirit becomes stronger each time we choose to continue in the face of difficulty. Success is not only about achievement, it is about transformation. Those who persist are not only accomplishing goals, they are becoming the kind of people capable of achieving them. Persistence also creates momentum. Every small victory, every incremental improvement, every step forward builds energy that propels us toward greater achievement. Like a snowball rolling downhill, persistence gathers speed and power over time. What begins as modest effort can grow into unstoppable force. The difference between giving up and persisting is often the difference between a fleeting attempt and a life-changing outcome. Consider the countless unsung heroes. The parent sacrificing sleep to educate their children. The student mastering skills despite repeated failure. The worker building a career from scratch. Their stories remind us that persistence does not require fame, recognition, or extraordinary talent. It requires commitment, courage, and action. Ordinary people, through relentless effort, create extraordinary impact. Persistence is not merely an action, it is a mindset. It is the daily choice to rise after setbacks, to learn from mistakes, to act despite fear, and to continue when the outcome is uncertain. Those who cultivate this mindset develop an inner strength that is unshakable, a resilience that cannot be broken, and a determination that cannot be denied. It becomes a force that shapes their destiny, influences those around them, and transforms the world. The moment you feel like quitting is often the moment your breakthrough is closest. History is filled with people who refused to surrender when the world expected them to fail. Walt Disney, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, J.K. Rowling, Bethany Hamilton, and countless ordinary individuals. Each faced obstacles, failures, and setbacks that would have stopped most people. They persisted, and in doing so, they achieved the extraordinary. Never forget, persistence is your greatest weapon. It transforms fear into courage, failure into wisdom, and struggle into strength. Every step forward, every action taken despite doubt, every refusal to quit compounds into success. The moment you choose persistence is the moment you choose greatness, the moment you honor your potential, and the moment you start writing your own story of triumph. Chapter 7. The most powerful battles we face are often not external. They are internal. Every person who has achieved greatness has confronted the storms within: fear, doubt, insecurity, and the quiet whispers that question their worth. The mind can be both the fiercest adversary and the most powerful ally. Those who succeed are not those who never struggle. They are those who master their mindset, harness their inner drive, and refuse to be defeated by self-doubt. Consider the story of Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school basketball team, a rejection that could have ended his dreams. Instead, Jordan used it as fuel. He trained harder, ran faster, practiced longer, and built a relentless mental toughness that would make him arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. His story shows that failure is not final. It is an opportunity to cultivate resilience, sharpen skill, and ignite determination. The first step in transforming your mindset is understanding that obstacles are not enemies. They are allies in disguise. Every challenge presents a lesson. Every setback provides an opportunity to grow, and every failure is a signal that your limits are being tested. When we view difficulties through this lens, the mind shifts from fear to curiosity, from hesitation to action, and from doubt to confidence. Persistence is amplified when combined with focus. Ordinary effort produces ordinary results. Extraordinary achievement requires attention, energy, and intentionality. It is not enough to try. You must commit, plan, and execute with precision. Consider the life of Serena Williams. Her dominance on the tennis court is not just talent. It is discipline, mental toughness, and unyielding focus. Every match, every practice, every training session was approached with purpose. Focus transforms effort into results, and persistence transforms results into legacy. Motivation is often fleeting, but drive can be cultivated. The human mind thrives on vision. Those who achieve greatness see beyond the present. They envision the future, the possibilities, and the impact of their actions. Elon Musk, facing near bankruptcy and global skepticism, focused on his vision for sustainable energy and space exploration. Motivation alone would not have sustained him. The vision, the purpose, and the drive kept him moving forward against all odds. Mindset transformation begins with self-belief. Many people fail before they even start because they underestimate their potential. Belief is the invisible force that powers persistence. Without it, obstacles become mountains, setbacks become dead ends, and challenges become reasons to quit. Those who cultivate unwavering belief in themselves turn the impossible into achievable. Even ordinary individuals achieve extraordinary results when they master their mindset. A student struggling with repeated failures may develop a mental strategy, breaking tasks into achievable steps, visualizing success, and celebrating small wins. A professional facing workplace challenges may focus on skill improvement, networking, and resilience. Mindset, more than circumstance, determines who succeeds and who gives up. Practical techniques can strengthen this mental armor. Visualize your goals daily. Break challenges into manageable steps. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Surround yourself with people who inspire, challenge, and uplift. Learn from failure rather than fearing it. Discipline your mind to focus on solutions rather than problems. These strategies turn ordinary persistence into unstoppable momentum. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling again. Beyond her repeated rejections, her mindset kept her moving forward. She visualized the world of Harry Potter, believed in her story, and refused to surrender to despair. The same principles apply to anyone. Clear vision, relentless belief, and strategic action lead to extraordinary outcomes. Peak motivation is often found in adversity. Every challenge can ignite determination if approached with the right mindset. The single parent working multiple jobs, the entrepreneur rebuilding after failure, the student studying late into the night, all demonstrate that motivation grows when necessity meets purpose. The key is to channel hardship into energy, doubt into clarity, and struggle into action. Unstoppable drive is cultivated by habit. Consistency, repetition, and discipline create momentum that outlasts temporary motivation. Michael Jordan did not become great by relying on fleeting enthusiasm. He trained relentlessly, pushed past exhaustion, and embraced discomfort as a pathway to growth. Drive becomes unstoppable when it is ingrained into daily life, when persistence is automatic, and when the mind is conditioned to act despite fear. Even the most extraordinary success stories contain moments of despair. Oprah Winfrey, before achieving fame, faced abuse, poverty, and rejection. Walt Disney confronted bankruptcy and ridicule. Elon Musk faced near financial collapse, yet all persisted because their mindset refused to accept defeat. They understood that the battle for success begins within, and that an unshakable mind can overcome any external obstacle. Mindset transformation is also about resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks quickly and stronger than before. Every failure, every disappointment, every rejection becomes fuel. Thomas Edison's countless experiments before inventing the light bulb were not failures. They were training for mastery. Resilience turns mistakes into wisdom, challenges into strategy, and pain into power. The final key to unstoppable drive is purpose. People who achieve greatness do so not only for themselves, but for something greater, a mission, a vision, or a contribution to the world. Purpose provides clarity, focus, and motivation even when the path is difficult. Nelson Mandela endured imprisonment for his country's freedom. Bethany Hamilton returned to professional surfing after a life-altering accident. Purpose transforms ordinary persistence into heroic endurance. As you read these words, reflect on your own journey. Think about the moments when quitting seemed easiest. Think about the dreams that feel distant, the goals that feel impossible. Those moments are the proving ground for your character. Each decision to persist, each act of courage, and each refusal to surrender builds strength, sharpens focus, and fuels unstoppable momentum. Never forget, your mind is your greatest asset. Master it, train it, and harness it. Belief, focus, resilience, and purpose are the pillars of persistence. When combined, they create an unstoppable force capable of overcoming any obstacle, achieving any goal, and transforming any dream into reality. The people who refuse to give up are not superhuman. They are ordinary humans who made extraordinary decisions. They embraced fear, endured hardship, and cultivated the mindset of champions. You have the same potential within you. Every thought, every decision, and every action shapes your reality. Choose persistence, cultivate your mind, and commit to your purpose. The moment you do, there is nothing that can stop you. Because the truth is simple, the strongest force in the universe is a mind that refuses to quit. The moment you believe, persist, and act, you become unstoppable. And when you are unstoppable, nothing, no failure, no obstacle, no setback can hold you back from achieving the extraordinary life you were destined to live.